Right, we're going to be doing this one-point perspective drawing. What I'm going to do is I'm going to start out by transferring this front view across. Okay, so I take lines from all of these corners over here, coming across into the view, and I'm going to drop lines coming down from here. You can see that coming down over there. You can see that coming down over there. So that line coming down over there. That line coming down over here, and that one coming down from there. Right, once I've done that, you'll be able to see that there are certain corners that are actually physically touching. You can see that line coming across, that line going up, that line coming across, that line coming down, that line coming across, and that line coming down. So I can draw in this part straight away at the front, because it is physically touching that picture plane, therefore I can see it. Okay, there we go. Draw that in as fast as you can. There you go. And then you can take a line coming across over here. Right. Okay, once I've done that, I'm going to take a line going up to the stationary point, from the stationary point all the way up to the horizon line. That's where my eyeballs are going to be, and I have now got my vanishing point all the way up there. Right, once I've got that, I'm going to then take lines coming from these corners out to the vanishing point. Okay, so lines going all the way out from all of these corners, going out to that vanishing point up there. Right, taking all of those out there, from every single one of those corners, up to the top there. There we go. And there we go. Right, I've got all of those lines, and you can see this object looks as though it's going off into infinity. All right, what are we going to do now is we're going to find these corners at the back over here. And you'll see that it has basically exactly the same profile as the front part of this thing. I'm going to start out and I'm going to say, all right, looking at it from here, I'm going to take a line coming down from that back corner, crosses the picture plane over there, and I drop that down to link up with this line going back over here. I'm going to draw that in straight away. Right, that's going across to there. And you'll note that this line over here is parallel to that picture plane. So I can take a line that is going across parallel, and it's going to stop against that line over there. That corner over there is right up at the top, okay? I'm going to take it down to the stationary point. There we go, taking that line, coming down to the stationary point. I drop that down onto the drawing over here, and I can draw a line coming out from this line over here, all the way out there. Right, once I've got that, you'll see that that line then goes parallel, so I'm going to take a line coming across parallel over there. It then drops straight down from there, so I'm going to drop straight down on my drawing over here. It then goes across parallel, so I'm going to go across parallel over there. And then it drops straight down again, so I drop straight down again over here. And from there, I can then draw in a line going across from there to there. Right, you'll see that this little section over here has a little gap in it, so I need to find that corner and that corner over there. Let's take those down. I'm going to take a line coming down to the stationary point from there, and drop that down into the picture over here, and I can then draw in a little line going from there to there. Do the same story over here, take a line coming from that corner over there to the stationary point, and I drop that down into my picture because it's crossing the picture plane, and I can draw that little piece of line in over there. Right, once I've got that, I then draw a line going from there to there, and a line going from there to there, or a line from there to there, and a line from there to there. Right, once I've got that, Note, I've got 2 lines going into that corner, so I need a third line coming across, parallel to the picture plane. 2 lines going into that corner over there, so I've got a third line coming across, parallel to the picture plane. I'm going to be able to draw a line coming across over here, and a line coming across over there. Right, once I've got that in place, you'll see over here, I've got 2 lines going into that corner. I need a third line coming across over here. Let's just draw that. So I've got a third line coming across over there, but how far across does it come? I need to drop a line coming down over here to that point over there, and I need to draw a line going across over there. Right. Once I've got that, you'll note that I have 2 lines going into that corner, and this gets very technical. I'm going to take a line coming from the vanishing point to that corner over there, and I'm going to end up with a line coming across to there. That is that drawing completed.